hello. Welcome to an episode of Diamond Cast that's number 48, I think. We're number 48. We're nearly at number 50. It's really exciting. So we've got some really exciting things to talk about today. One of them is going to be our main topic. But first of all, we've got some announcements to make. So I think that's come off of Patreon and things like that, Adam.
Oh, yeah. So thank you for everyone that signed up to our Patreon and on our Discord server. You guys are awesome. Added some of my holiday snaps onto the Patreon last night. So if anyone wants to see what I got up to.
Where did you go?
Went to Blackpool for the weekend.
Nice.
British seaside town. But mainly to go on the roller coasters.
Oh, I was going to say, what took you there? Roller coasters?
Yeah. It used to have the UK's biggest roller coaster for years. And it was really scary. I remember always seeing it on Live and Kicking or something. They'd get some poor presenter to try and present while on the roller coaster. And it was horrible. Or children in need and shit like that. But
you're a bit of a roller coaster aficionado, aren't you?
I am. I've been to 8 different theme parks so far this year and got another.
Wow, that's
2,
one a month.
Hopefully got another 2 coming. So,
fantastic.
Well into it.
What's the best one, do you reckon, so far?
Actually, I like SeaWorld in Orlando the most because it's got the best roller coasters. I'm all about a roller coaster. I think they had some bad press, obviously, from documentaries, and so they pivoted into just building loads of really extreme roller coasters. So it's more even though it's at SeaWorld, it's not really that fishy. It's more roller coaster.
But there are fish. Well, they're not actually. They're mammals, aren't they? Dolphins.
Yeah, it's still really cool though.
Not actually fish.
All the rides are fish themed.
Okay,
well,
that's a good pivot.
Yeah.
So what could you rank your top 3 roller coasters that you've been on?
Mako, Manta, Hyperia.
Where are they? And what
2
are
in
they?
SeaWorld and 1
Why are they good? So Mako is in SeaWorld, and it's a really big hyper coaster. It's a hyper coaster or a mega coaster?
How tall is that?
So a mega coaster is over a certain height, and a hyper coaster is slightly less, I think, or more. I don't remember the difference between the 2. But so Mako is 205 feet tall.
Something like that, yeah, it's pretty good.
And what's the next one? Manta. Manta's slightly less tall, but it has more loops, and you fly. You're actually in. You're not seated. You start off seated, and then
you're like a little stingray.
The seat moves like that, so you're flying like a stingray.
Here we go.
Or a manta ray. No. And then the third one is Hyperion Thought Park, which is in the UK, and that was built last year, and that is 200 and I think it's 200. Is it 234 feet tall? It's just slightly taller than the big one in Blackpool, and it's the UK's tallest coaster. So it just it's about 10 feet taller. The one in Blackpool, the big one's 220 something feet tall. So there's just
a coaster facts.
There. So there you go. I could do this all day.
So anyway, I uploaded my Blackpool holiday snaps to Patreon. You guys can check it out. And chatting to the bats on Discord, and we've started 2 new channels on there for UK and Europe Street Team and USA Street Team. And
what are the street team? Can you do the ooh? Because I don't have the soundboard.
Wait, which one is? I can't remember which picture it is. Is that one? Yeah, that's it. Well, because we've got this tour coming up, loads of the fans have got good ideas about how we can sort of promote in the area on the way, get in contact with local DJs and stuff like that. So gonna try and drum up some new fans.
On Discord already, thanks so much for all the support. There's been people who have been suggesting things that they could do, like actually design flyers and leave in places and put stickers up and that kind of thing. So if we could maybe get some stickers sent out to people or something that they can start putting places. And somebody also mentioned a QR code, which is a brilliant idea.
Cool.
That links to your online stuff so that people can see it. You can get new fans in. So it might be a good thing to send out little stickers.
So if you want to get involved with this, join our Discord server, which you can get.
If you want to be on the Diamond Black Street Team, the tour is in 10 weeks time or 9 weeks time. So we've got some time. It's plenty of time to start putting things out around everywhere and get the word out and spread the word that Diamond Black are coming to a town near you.
Diamond Black is coming to town.
Like Santa Claus is coming to town.
There you go. Cool. Okay. Well, thanks, Adam. Well done for sorting all that out, and thanks to everyone in the Discord.
Absolutely.
There you go. First one of the day.
First one of the day.
I want to talk about where Vincent is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, where is what?
At the spa.
I think you think he looks like he's at a spa, do you, Adam?
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks
Keep
quite
guessing.
zen.
Keep guessing.
Well, what's that word say? I've got something GE at the end.
GE? Age?
Rage.
Rage.
Rage? It doesn't look very ragey font though. Are you in like a? Well, what's that thing in the background? Is that a sink?
Yeah, well,
Oh,
this is basically a reception/kitchen.
See, I thought you were behind some sort of desk. I feel like you're in a leisure centre and you can walk in and be like, I'd like to book some swimming or something.
It's a bit leisure centre. I thought you looked like you were in some sort of TV studio. This is Vincent's morning TV show.
Could be. It could well be.
Tough time with Vinny.
I'm basically just in my studio, and this is the reception, kitchen, meeting room area. And there's more meeting room the other way, but there's people using it. So
that's really disappointing.
It's pretty disappointing.
I was wondering if
maybe next time I'll
get the reflection in the glasses.
Yeah, can we go with?
How can you see?
I can't really see the reflection enough to know what it actually is, but that's what I was trying to get.
Let's go with leisure centre TV studio spa combo. I think that's probably a more satisfying answer.
It's like on This Morning where you cut away to someone out in the field.
It is like that. It's a different. Now over to Vincent in the kitchen, and where you'll be preparing some sort of tough recipe.
Yeah, kitchen doesn't really sound rock and roll, isn't it?
What, Vincent?
No, kitchen.
Kitchen. Vinny's kitchen. Vincent's kitchen. That's quite good. Vincent's kitchen. It's got almost rhymes.
It sounds very posh. It sounds like we're going to be cooking some coq au vin or something.
Over to Vincent's kitchen, where
So this is how I prepare this.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, talk about.
So we established that.
Very good.
No.
Everyone else is where they're supposed to be, so we can
Nice to be
skip past
back.
that. Ben's copied my lights, which is fine, but
I have not copied anything. You can't copy light.
you can. It's my light.
Okay, say it's exactly the same colour. I admit. Yeah. Okay. You got me.
I like your scarf.
Thank you very much. Well,
That's
I've got it ready for.
It's getting real.
Yeah,
We're going to have a moment, aren't we? Okay.
You never know. There might be one. I want to be ready.
You've got to be prepared.
Cool.
Okay.
Do you want me to change the colour? Is it offending you?
No, I'm flattered. When I was at school, if a kid copied me, I'd be like, that's because I'm fucking,
I haven't got any lights.
Oh, no, it's green.
See? Yeah, well, do you remember that kind of irritating thing that teachers would say, that if someone copied your work, they'd say, it's the highest form of flattery?
Yes.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
I was absolutely enraged when this other kid copied my idea for like a story, and it's never really got over it, even though I should.
You should be flattered.
Did you make it better than yours though?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Well,
then it's okay.
Anyway.
It's your idea. If someone copies it, that's fair enough. They can copy it, but it's never going to be better than yours. So.
Well, yeah, but
Not very flattering.
Well, the thing is,
I find it quite disrespectful, actually.
I've done a whole series of these stories, and then suddenly this chancer comes in and does his own one, which is basically like a rip-off. It was, well, as an 8-year-old, I was enraged.
I think the fact that you're getting ripped off by another 8-year-old kid shows how good your story is.
Thank you.
Like, you know, I just what I do then is I'd write one that was slightly
what's
more.
the story about? We've got to know what the
Yeah,
story
what's
is
it about?
It was the series of stories were called Blood Hell. So you had Blood Hell 1 to 12.
It's fucking metal.
Right?
Wow. All right, George R. Martin.
The story was essentially, in each story there was the devil playing some sort of role, and then like a bunch of school kids would get involved in some adventure where they were fighting the devil. Okay?
Cool.
That's cool.
It was called Blood Hell. And then
you still have it?
Probably somewhere. And then this other kid came up with Sizzling Blood, which was...
Oh, wait. Actually, that's way too obvious.
And and then he just thought he'd go... let's not even speak of it. Move on. I've moved on.
Did you pass around like little copies of it for your friends to read and stuff?
I can't remember. I do remember that...
because it sounds like a series. Sounds like something that people would be eagerly awaiting the next one of.
It was a bit, and it was that every time we were given an opportunity to do some creative writing, I'd always shoehorn in to make it another Blood Hell. to just find a way.
Did your parents get called into the school by the teachers for writing stuff about the devil?
Concerned about this. It just seemed to be accepted that he was just the iconic, the baddie in all of them, the devil. Although one of the Blood Hells actually featured the members of Only Fools and Horses as well, so there was flexibility.
It's called Bloody Hell, was it?
That's very good. Bloody hell, Rodney. Yeah. So how did we get there? Oh, because I copied your
And the
notes.
devil. Was the devil in the Only Fools and Horses and the devil, or did the devil have a week off?
He was also in that. So we had
Devil never has a week off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nicholas Lyndhurst had to fight the devil in my
Cool.
in my version.
I don't like Rodney.
I like Rodney.
No, I
don't like Rodney.
No, I don't like him, mate.
Because he's Blanca.
Not the biggest Only Fools and Horses fan, anyway. So.
I think
Sacrilege.
that's a debate for another day when we're
Yeah.
going to talk about like 80s sitcoms.
Okay.
Anyway, I've digressed, obviously.
No, because it's interesting. And I like this story.
This episode. All we've done is digress.
I like this series of books. I'm really interested in it. There you go.
Oh yeah, I'll try and find them. Yeah.
Hell.
Did you illustrate them as well?
I think so. Yeah, I think they had drawings
Cool.
in them. But then, when I was about 12, I tried to write a proper novel, which is I got about 500-600 pages done, and I've still got that.
600 pages.
Yeah, of like an exercise
Wow.
book pages. Yeah.
Oh,
Still got
right,
that.
by hand.
Yeah, by hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many exercise books is that?
What was
About
that
6.
called?
That was called The Eye of the Damned.
Oh.
It's the theme coming here.
That's very
What's it about?
inspired stuff.
It was quite fighting fantasy. It was about this guy who was... It's just ridiculous we're getting into this. It was about this kind of like... It was set in a kind of medieval style world. And the main character, he'd been descended from a race of humans that had developed from dogs. So rather than monkeys and apes, they developed from dogs. And one of the things that was residual in his personality was he had this canine-like rage that he had to try and like control and suppress. And the story is about his adventure of like trying to... get to some sort of end of the story, but whilst dealing with this sort of inner rage.
Oh,
Cool.
nice.
Yeah, never finished it. The problem was
Do you know the ending?
Sorry?
Do you know how it ends? You just know you never finished it, but do you know how it ends?
I don't know how it ends, and I think that's sort of what happened back then when we wrote stories. Also, when you try and write or create something when you're that age, you're developing so fast that about 6 months after you wrote the first bit, you now think it's rubbish because you're developed so quick in any sort of creative project. And then it got really wayward right about the time I was 13 because there was this girl I really fancied in school, and so I wrote myself into the story so that I could date her in the story. It was just pathetic.
The self-insert, the dreaded self-insert. That's what will kill your story.
And it did. I didn't know where I was going from that, and I was just like trying to somehow navigate my character to have a relationship with this girl as the version in the book.
I did the same thing.
Did you?
Oh yeah, it's a story I wrote at school.
So when you any creative writing is like, okay, I can't actually ask this person out, so I'm just going to write a story where I'm the main character looks suspiciously like me, and the love interest looks suspiciously like her.
Yeah. And well, I wasn't the main character. I was written into it as a new character called Bedrayan. So that's sort of Ben. My middle name's David, so it was like Ben David Bedrayan. It was, and it sounded.
Did you ever write like fan fiction or
This is
RPG fiction? Because you had to self-insert yourself as a character in an RPG, and you could only write stuff from their perspective. So each person in the forum would like write a different chapter, and it would be about about your character. So you couldn't get another character to do stuff, but you could observe other characters and the situation that was going on, and you had to propel the story forward somehow without getting the other characters to manipulate them or anything like that. So it was a bit of a game, but that was one thing I was part of for a short time when I was that age. But yeah, it was like you had to make a character that was basically you, but a fantasy version of yourself.
Well, you've got a lot of history in writing, don't you, Nat, in terms of creative
like
writing?
the same amount as you, basically.
Did you write a adventure book, like where you have to roll dice and go to specific pages and stuff like that?
My brother did it.
Yeah, I
That's
used to
awesome.
do like adventure comics where you have like a choice at the end of the page, but not as intense as like Fighting Fantasy.
That's cool. It was very complicated to work out the mechanic of all the different page references in a map. He did it though. He
also tricking people into like dying, like making a really long route that you go down to die and you have to start again. It's just then.
So they throw the book across the room and think, I'm never reading this again.
So they're a dead end, like 5 pages later.
Well, it's a bit like those extremely ambitious things we would do as kids. I remember my brother decided he was going to do a illustrated comic version of Terry Pratchett's The Colour of Magic. It was like, right, this is going to be brilliant. And of course, he did like 2 pages and it took him a month. And it's like, okay, this is probably a little bit hard. But that sort of youthful enthusiasm that you just... boundless ambition of, I'm going to do it. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and it's like, I can write a series or a novel. The thing is, I think I started writing novel when I was like 12 or 13, and it was also a PlayStation game and a trilogy, and I printed out, like, I drew all the characters and printed out like a fake PlayStation cover that looks really as realistic as you could with the printed technology we had. And then I realized that I'd got to a point where I was too like inexperienced about life to be able to write adult characters that were believable. And I hadn't had enough like personal experience talking and learning things as an adult, because every time I wrote something, it still sounded a bit juvenile. Like, why would the character make this decision and things like that? Like, it was well crafted for the age, but not like well enough to compete with how people actually act in the world. So I was like, right, go away, get some like life experience, and then carry on writing it when you've got some life experience with actual humans. I guess
you had you had the self-awareness to know that.
Yeah, it was just frustrating because everyone was like, "Oh, it's really good for your age," and I'm like, "I want to be good. I don't want to be good for my age." So yeah, but I picked it up again a couple of years ago. So Adam helps me a lot with sounding out different ideas, and just we sit down and talk about like what different characters are and how they would grow and how they would do things and stuff. And yeah, we sometimes do that.
It's nice.
Waiting for it. So never give up is what I'm trying to say. And you can always carry on writing what you were writing when you were young. So I'm hoping that another installment of Blood Hell will be out.
Yeah, me too.
It's a really cool title though, man. Blood Hell.
Yeah.
It's so it's not even rock and it's metal. It's very metal.
It is, isn't it? Like metal for your whole life.
Maybe that was the start of your musical journey.
Yeah, I definitely think there was a lot of AC/DC tied up in it at the time as well. So, yeah.
Cool. There we go. Wait.
Has anyone?
Well,
There you go.
absolutely.
I'm gonna have to get some.
Yeah, tell us about what you wrote when you were at school. Tell us about what you wrote, maybe not at school, like after and since. If you guys are interested in creative writing or fanfic writing or anything like that. If you were on a forum writing an RPG back in the day. If you wrote fantasy books or anything like that, even however young or childish they might be. I'd like to hear stories.
Definitely, yeah, nice one, guys.
I guess lyric writing is continuation of that. They're like little stories, lyrics for songs.
Yeah. And if you fancied someone in your class but couldn't quite ask them out, did you insert them into your story or your song as well? Let us know in the comments.
That's so pathetic.
It's not. It seems it's quite cute, really.
Well, yeah, I guess it's what can you do? Okay, well, I can at least create something, and I guess it's a bit like songwriting, isn't it? It's a tribute. As
long as you don't make something horrible happen to them.
If I can't have you, no one will.
Did the girl know that she was in your book?
No, and to this day, she doesn't know.
Maybe you should tell her. I should tell her.
Wait, so did she read your book though?
No.
Did she read the story?
I don't think I even spoke to her until about a year after I'd stopped writing the book.
Oh, but did you ask her out?
Well, it was this tragic thing, so tragic, where I really liked her, but she had a boyfriend, so I sort of started hanging out with her boyfriend as well, and
Sabotage.
The 3 of us would hang out, and it was like, this is rubbish. I remember one time, he was like, hey, Ben, do you want to come over? We're going to watch a film tonight. And we sat and we watched like Heathers, and they were just snogging, and I was sat on the end of the sofa going, why am I doing this? Why am I here? So, yeah. It wasn't
Netflix and chill's not for you.
Add him into the book. It's like...
He's the villain in the book. He's a monster. He's really ugly and like full of boils.
That will show him.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, okay. That's I feel really sad about that story. Okay, so let's move on to the topic of the day, which is a question from Andy Crimson, I believe, right? Which is, what band or artist do you like that might be surprising? So we all know what typical bands and artists that each of you like, and we can all probably, if we had a list, guess which band and artist is each one's favourite.
So easy. It'd be so
very,
easy.
very distinct styles. So what would surprise people about different bands and artists, or is it a band or artist that you like that people will be like, really, you? I didn't know that.
Okay.
Shall I begin?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yes, Ben, you have a good one, don't you?
Okay. So I
get Adam to guess the year.
Really like the artist Nik Kershaw. He's a British artist who rose to fame in the early to mid '80s and still performs now. But his key era was, let's say, sort of '83 to about '90. And his most famous.
You were in the. I was going to guess the year.
You're going to. But what? Yeah, but I've given you an era, not the year.
Oh, okay, cool.
His most famous songs are both top 5 hits in the UK. Wouldn't It Be Good and The Riddle. And The Riddle was interesting because I remember there was some sort of speculation at the time because the lyrics were really weird. Is this actually a riddle that leads to some buried treasure? The song, is it somehow this message that you can then find if you decode the song's lyric? And I remember thinking that was a thing, although in a later interview he said, his quote was, "The lyric is nonsense, rubbish, bollocks, the confused ramblings of an 80s pop star." So it wasn't. But there were certainly very, very interesting lyrics. And I think the reason why I liked him as a kid was because his songs, they were about things. They weren't just love songs, they were about things. So stuff like climate change and things like the destruction of Native America, and there was a song about anti-whale hunting and stuff like that. So as a kid, I could think these songs are about things. It was very cinematic, and I think that's possibly why I engaged with it more than I would have done with other just pop songs that were about relationships or whatever.
Well, you like stories?
Yeah, and I like that there was a sense of a purpose to it and a laudable mission to what he was singing about. It was important.
Nice.
And then as I got... sorry.
No, I was going to say, what was your favourite kind of statement he was making?
I think I really connected with the one about the anti-whale hunting. The song, it used to make me cry because it was so vividly depicted, the way that he talked about it in the lyrics and the music of it as well. That would always really resonate. And again, the song about climate change, so he was talking about a lot of environmental issues, and this was the early to mid 80s where I think this stuff wasn't as
back when it was global warming.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Well, they rebranded.
Talked about as much. Yeah.
What was it? The greenhouse effect when I was at school.
Right. Yeah. And so again, it was sort of a cautionary tale in the lyrics about these things. So it was very sort of meaningful and purposeful. And I think as I got older and I looked back on his work, I realised that all of the songs pretty much have some kind of interesting meaning. So there's ones about the fragmentation of like male identity and the idea that we've got these really powerful and like unattainable role models that we're supposed to be like. There were songs about the disposable nature of the music industry and being a pop star and how that's just transient and he wanted to be something more real. And he talks about how much he likes Joni Mitchell and how that sort of musical sophistication isn't held in high regard when you're just like churning out mainstream pop music.
Sounds quite relevant for today.
Yeah.
So I retrospectively realised that a lot of his work was about much subjects with substance to them, definitely.
Do you think an artist could do subjects like that now, or do you think that they wouldn't be propelled to success because they might be talking about something that could be controversial?
That's a good question. I think maybe...
punk bands do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, definitely punk bands. A lot of them do this kind of stuff, sing about current, trends.
Oh, I guess that, like band Kneecap and stuff are doing that. There's still some activist kind of rebellion stuff.
But Nik Kershaw's not punk though, is he?
I don't know. I don't know him.
The way that he sings about things is slightly different than being angry about the establishment. It's kind of, it has more, like Ben was saying, like it's more emotional, right? Am I wrong?
It's emotional, but also he sings with quite a... His vocal style is really interesting because he does occasionally sing with a lot of emotion, but a lot of it's quite matter of fact, the way that he sings as well. It's quite a neutral voice. He's a very, very good singer. There's great harmonies and everything, but it's got this sort of very matter of fact quality to it, which I think also is quite a unique and strong feature of it. I think one of the things that I really like about his music that I didn't recognize when I was a kid and only as I got older was that he has a masterful use of key changes and modulations in his songs. He'll change key about 5 times in the verse.
Nice.
And it just doesn't sound like anything else. It sounds so unique. And it sounds very cinematic, and it sounds very much like, again, storytelling element to it. And I think that's what's also kept me interested over the years. Like other songs I listened to back when I was that old were stuff like Ghostbusters and Neverending Story. But I don't listen to those anymore, certainly not on a kind of weekly basis. As much as I love
do you listen to Nik Kershaw on a weekly basis then?
Absolutely.
Really? Okay.
I still get a lot of solace from listening to his work. I think the musical and lyrical sophistication, the substance of it, gives me a slightly...
Oh, special guest.
There he is. That was good. The musical and lyrical sophistication, the substance of it makes me feel calm. It makes me feel like I'm in a library or something. It's just got that nice calming effect that there's this intelligence and substance to what I'm listening to. In the same way that a lot of people say listening to classical music while they work helps them in some way.
Yes.
I find that that with Nik Kershaw, I have a similar kind of feeling. And
nice.
These key changes are mad. Like if you listen to it as a musician, particularly the 80s work, you'll be like, what is even happening here? And there's people who have gone like forensic on YouTube talking about his songs and pulling it apart of like, he now changes key here 5 times within the verse. And it's just a very, very unique sound. And in fact, if you guys ever heard the song, The One and Only by Chesney Hawkes.
Of course.
He wrote that song. And
Nice.
if you listen to the verses, you can hear that that's very Nik Kershaw. It's changing key every bar. But it doesn't sound, like, to me, it doesn't sound like it's just indulgent and for the sake of it. It feels like those changes take you on a natural musical journey throughout the song. So yeah, I think the combination of the lyrical sophistication, the musical sophistication is why I still listen to that artist that I started listening to when I was maybe 5, whereas other ones have sort of fallen by the wayside. Like I don't listen to Yaz and the Plastic Population as much anymore, or like Bros. I will revisit them, but this is, I think, why I've kept listening to him.
Oh, nice.
The first time I heard about Nik Kershaw was in my drum class, back in college. My drum instructor, he basically encouraged us to listen to this one song, Don't Ask Me, because it's got one little section there where there's a drum fill that's super technical, very, very complicated, and we had to dissect it and study it at that time. And the drummer was Vinny Colaiuta, and we were thinking, for a pop song, this is insanely complicated, but it really works, and that's how great that drummer was, because he's very technical, but he made it sound like it's not, it's a pop song. So if you guys are interested, have a listen to that. Don't Ask Me by Nik Kershaw. There's a little breakdown section there, and then when the chorus comes in, before that chorus, there's a really probably about 2-bar drum fill, which sounds absolutely amazing. I did that in one of my videos and posted it in my Facebook and Instagram. So I don't think I did it was good. It was good. It was all right. I did okay.
I'm sure it was brilliant. And in fact, on one of our new songs on our album, there's a fill that you do that reminds me of the same kind of vibe of that fill, because it's the way it drops down into a quiet section. And I think it's a triplet fill as well. Right? That really reminds me. And I think that's another reason why I liked listening and still like listening to Nik Kershaw, is because there's so much sophistication from the musicianship that it just keeps you interested in listening to what is actually happening. This is brilliant. And I think he made a point of always getting very, very good musicians to play on his albums.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Extras.
So yeah, how did you get into Nik Kershaw, Ben?
My uncle, who's the same guy who got me into all the rock and metal stuff, because he's only 8 years older than me, so he's like a big brother, and he got me into all that. Sorry?
Not Uncle Albert, is it?
Not Uncle Albert. No, he's a lot older than me. Uncle Jonathan, and he got me into all the rock and metal stuff. But even earlier, he got me into Nik Kershaw. He was listening to that, and I was like, "This is brilliant." So when I listen to it, there is all those elements that I talked about, but there's also just a nostalgia of, this reminds me of childhood. This reminds me of the first music that I ever really listened to. And I think for a lot of us, those artists will always have a special place in our heart because they remind us of those fledgling years of becoming passionate about music.
Yeah, man.
Cool. Have you seen him live?
Yeah, once in 2012. It was good. It was a great show. We played some deep cuts and stuff, which was nice. He actually played Live Aid in 1985. He was one of the artists that played there, and I can't imagine what it would be like to play something like that. It would be insane. But I was way too young to have ever seen it back in the day, but that would have been interesting as well.
Is he still around? Is he still playing, touring, recording?
Yeah. I think he still goes on tour, and I think he often does things as part of festivals or tours with other 80s acts. So they do that kind of like retro thing, which I don't know how he really feels about that, because I imagine that some of the bands he has to play with are a bit just like middle of the road pop music. But that's, people will probably turn up because they're like, oh, Nik Kershaw, I remember that guy, as part of like an 80s oeuvre.
Nice.
Cool. So you asked us to listen to a song by him. Can you tell us about the song and why is it your favourite song?
It's not actually my favourite, but I thought it reflected him better than maybe some of my other favourites would, because it's
Okay.
It's a 4-minute song, but the journey it goes on is so bizarre and so weird, but it still feels like a complete and comprehensive piece of work. And lyrically, it's about this idea of imposing authority on other people and how the fallacy of that, of this voice saying, "Hey, I'm just better than you because I just am," and you have to do, and that kind of hierarchy that is built at the time.
Sounds like my kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, is he a policeman in this story?
No, but there's a bit where he does a voice that sounds like he could be a security guard, and he does this spoken word bit.
So he's on a little power trip, because I got the impression he was a policeman.
What, in the song?
Or that he was talking from the perspective of someone who was in
got
that
my
position.
smart uniform and my duty to perform. Yeah. I don't care what you say. Yeah, and I think that's very much what he's adopting, the role of someone who has a uniform like security or policeman, and then that being like, I am now the be all and end all because of this role that I've taken. It doesn't matter what opinions or who you are because I now have this uniform.
I guess it could be a teacher. He could be someone who's like who's not actually got that role in, like, literally, but thinks that they have, and they think of themselves as that important.
Yeah, exactly. So it was, you picked up on the theme in it, and again, that's very, very on brand, I think, for Kershaw to be writing as an 80s pop star about something like that, which isn't really very 80s pop star-ish.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's got some good bass in it as well.
Yeah, really interesting. And there's this whole weird section that rising section that it does in the middle, and then it ends the song with it as well. That's, if Vinny could probably tell us what time signature it's in, but it is in some odd signature, which again is just really, really unlikely for an artist at that time in that genre. So you said it's not your favourite song. What is your favourite song by him? My favourite song by him is called You Might. And I think that was one of the first ones that I ever heard. And it's got this really weird chorus where it's talking about the things that you might be, but you aren't. And it's saying, like, you might be a Gershwin tune, as in John Gershwin. You might be a cop cartoon. You might be and something else you might be, but you're not. And it was just really bizarre. I think the song is about the idea of someone having these like grand designs but never actually putting them into action, just imagining they'll do things but never actually making the effort to do them. That's what I think it might be in retrospect.
Sounds like Talking Heads.
Yeah.
Look.
I think there's a lyric that goes, play the fool and act the clown, impress your friends and neighbours, not so good when you come down with nothing for your labours. So yeah, there's really, again, a good strong message. But I think I liked it initially because it's got big guitars in it. So even back then I was like, I like guitar songs more than non-guitar stuff. So that's definitely, I think, my favourite song for nostalgia reasons and because it's a bit more rocking.
Cool. I've listened to it. So we've got 3 Nik Kershaw songs to listen to, basically. So
description.
Ben's favourite, Ben's suggestion, and Vinny's favourite.
Yes. Excellent.
Cool.
Nice. Do you want me to answer the question about a band?
Do you have an answer?
Yeah.
Okay, go on then.
Well, it's actually super hard for me to think of one because I've got a really wide range and eclectic music taste. Like I really love like 1920s vaudeville and ragtime, and then like 50s rock and roll and like loads of old vintage stuff. And then I love the 70s glam and 70s punk and 80s. I skip the 60s. I don't like the 60s very much. But then I like, 90s. I like 90s trance and Europop and like then cheesy stuff and then punk. It's just like I've got such a wide range of genres and styles that I like. I was actually trying to find it hard to think of one that's surprising because they're all surprising. But I thought about like my parents got me into this band. It's like they got a thing for 2-piece bands where one person plays keyboard and the other one's the singer, and all their favorite bands are like 2-piece like that. So you've got the Pet Shop Boys or Sparks, or in my case the band that I'm talking about, Erasure. So Erasure are my, like, I listen to them a lot. So I was thinking of a band that I really like, not just like, I like a random song. So I listened to Erasure a lot, especially during the pandemic when I used to go for walks when I was allowed. Just listen to Erasure all the time, and it's cheered me up during those times. And yeah, I really like it. I like, because I'm a keyboard player as well, the synthiness. Like Vince Clarke is a bit of a synth nerd, so it's good production and lots of old vintage noises. And they're really brilliant pop songs, I'm all about melody. Like melody is my most important thing. So I like a song if it's got a really good melody and it's really well written, and they're pretty banging. So that's what
What's their most famous song?
Well, they got like A Little Respect and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not, it's a good song, but it's not really my favorite one. Well, that's quite a weird song. It's got really weird. For a pop song, it's really weirdly written. I like the more sort of ambient-y. They got ballady stuff. But yeah, I will link a Erasure song.
Nice.
Yeah.
What songs got you through the pandemic?
Like Breathe, I think was good. Alien, like a lot. I just got all their albums on my iPod. So not iPod, iPhone, and just randomly press random and then just walk around and see what comes on. I don't like listening to albums. Like I like to be surprised, so I just put an artist on and then let it go. That's quite cool. Yeah. So yeah, it's quite nice.
Cool.
Rain's a nice one as well. Rain's the one I'm going to put in the description, actually. Okay.
Have you seen them live?
Yeah, loads of times. Really good. They used to do
How old
really
were you when you first saw them live?
like 7, 6, something like that.
Cool.
They used to do they do super camp shows. It's a bit, maybe likes to drag it up a bit. So it's all a bit tongue in cheek. It's quite fun. So it's quite good. I think I was the only child there. Because when I went with my parents, and it's mainly gay people. And then my mum and dad and me. It was fun.
It's a bit different now, though. There's more of a mixed audience. There are younger people there.
They're more niche, I guess, back in the early 90s. But yeah, it's wicked. Because my parents used to create sample CDs and have loads of keyboards and stuff, so we liked all the different synths they used. A bit of a synth nerd.
Your dad had a synth room, didn't he? Or a garage?
Yeah, well, my parents didn't really have a bedroom. They had, like what I've got now, but twice as many synths. So it's just like a music studio. I had to get rid of the bed. I slept on the floor. And so I used to sleep on the floor in my parents' music studio. That was fun. They make
Brilliant.
sample CDs of like drum beats and shit and give them silly names and send them to Fatboy Slim, stuff like that. Pretty good.
Well, that's brilliant. So you were physically surrounded by all this musical paraphernalia as you were growing up.
And still am. It hasn't changed.
Right,
Just move.
So that's why you find it comforting to put all this stuff around you in your room, because you didn't have your own bedroom. You had your parents' music studio. As
I didn't have a bed until for like half of my childhood. No space for it. Need space for
What did you
keyboards.
sleep on?
Like some floor.
Like not even a mattress.
No, put like a what's it, like an eider down or something?
Hey.
Sheet.
Cut off.
There's a
Cut off.
That's cool. I love it. Suits me. It's like pre-train me for when we go on tour. We have to sleep anywhere. I'm used to it. Yes. Yeah, that's fun.
That's pretty cool. And that's really cool. So your parents used to have music samples, right?
Yeah. So this is like when synths and sampling CDs were like just kicking off, and you'd get like a computer music magazine and have a sample CD on the front, like royalty-free samples, and you can just use them. So my parents used to create like the royalty-free sample things, so like and just synth, like things like that.
Wow, it's very cool.
It's very cool.
So their work must appear on numerous releases.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they know who bought them. I know they've sold one to Fatboy Slim, so I don't know.
Amazing. Wow.
That's pretty cool.
It's good stuff, man.
Do you know what song it's used on, or if it's used on?
Oh no, I don't know. No, I don't really know what sample it is. I can find out. I'll ask my mum.
Get the CD.
Mum, leave it.
CD?
Let us know in the comments, Mum.
Oh yeah, she can write on the chat.
Does she watch the cast?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh, cool. That's amazing.
Shout out. Cool. So yeah, I think I was trying to think of a band that I really would like, but people wouldn't necessarily guessed, and that was it.
That's great. Really good choice.
Thanks.
Yeah. So we got Nik Kershaw, we got Erasure, Vincent.
Yeah, well, I think kind of like similar to what Adam said. I like the Beatles, that era, because I guess that's the kind of first band I really listened to and liked. And it was also the first album I thought one of the best of the Beatles. So.
Oh wow!
But I guess that
I would never have guessed that was one of the first albums you bought.
Oh really? Well, yeah, because at that time, it's rock and roll, and it's not really that unpredictable. But yeah, it was cool.
Do you have a particular era or album of the Beatles that you like? Because it's quite different. The stuff's quite varied, isn't it?
Yeah, because what I had was the classics, all the classics. The Hey Jude, In My Life, Yesterday, things like that. So if all I can remember was it was the best of the Beatles. There was about maybe 20, 25 songs in there. And it's all the classics, all their hits.
I like the sort of 60s, the early era stuff more, just because it's got like the more upbeat, less psychedelic stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess because they span quite a lot of styles of music.
Yeah, it's coming out of rock and roll into, more influenced by rock and roll bands like Buddy Holly and stuff.
Yeah.
The rock and roll stuff's cool.
Yeah, exactly. If you notice as well, the Beatles actually adapted their music according to the years, because I think before they split up, they were changing into more 70s music. And I think that inspired a lot of the 70s bands, because when they started writing songs in that genre, it became really popular, and a lot of 70s bands kind of were influenced by them.
I guess it would have just been the new sound then, though, wouldn't it? It was just less like...
Yeah. And I believe they kind of created that, when they started writing, adapting to the times, and they started as well.
What do you think of the influence they had on music as a whole? Because obviously that's something that everyone credits them for. And we only know them from hindsight because we weren't actually there.
Well, I mean, it's not just the influence on like music. They like the first band, I think, to be signed or successful that actually wrote their own music. So that was a big sea change. Like before, you'd have singwriters and they'd give your artist a song. Beatles were the first one to write themselves, so that's really opened the doors for actually people.
Oh, yeah, that's so true, isn't it? Because I watched this TV series about, it was like a dramatisation of Cilla Black, and watching her career, also from Liverpool, was that she was just given songs by writers, and then she was the face of the song. But yeah, you're right that they actually wrote their own work. Yeah,
and I think that there was a whole the rock and roll era and stuff. It sort of was what created the teenager or teenage culture, because before that there wasn't kind of like rock and roll music, and that early time was in America, but then the Beatles were the first British, apart from Cliff Richard, obviously.
So it's like the rock and roll eras were a lot of solo artists, and so it switched to being bands as well when they come along.
Were they the first main band? Major band?
You could say they're the first sort of.
Because you had like Cliff Richard and the Shadows, but that's a singer with a backing group of singers, right?
Yeah, and I don't think we don't write music.
Like Jerry and the Pacemakers, Eddie and Hot Rod.
You have like musical groups, but I don't think they wrote their own stuff. That's the difference.
Yeah.
I don't think they're allowed to. I think it's quite a closed shop. Like, we know how to write the songs around here. You just play them.
There's only a few people that did it back then.
Yeah, with Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash was like that as well, I think.
Right,
they wanted him to play the songs that they wanted him, other people wrote for him, and he wanted to play his own stuff.
Right, okay. Interesting.
Rock and roll.
What are your guys' favourite Beatles songs?
I like Eleanor Rigby. I think
that's the one I was going to say.
It's almost like a dark kind of sort of.
It's got a story.
Yeah, it's got a good story, and it's quite a dark, almost like gothic kind of song, isn't it? And I like that one. What about you, Adam? No,
there's a good cover. There's a good cover by a band called Godhead of Eleanor Rigby. It's like industrial people. The Bats will probably like it.
Yeah,
check it out. It's really good.
Well, it's custom made to be made into a heavier song, isn't it? Because of the chords sequence and the darkness of it.
I don't know. Maybe try to think of other ones.
I really like.
I don't know. Something silly.
I really like "Here Comes the Sun," which is interesting because that song was sung by George Harrison instead of the usual Paul McCartney and John Lennon.
Interesting.
And I think it was also written by him, by George Harrison. So I think
it's quite good, isn't it? It's really catchy. And then when you get it stuck in your head, it's stuck in your head. But is it actually quite happy, or is it about a metaphor for something more dark?
But you don't know. It's one to look into.
I actually don't know. It sounds like a happy song, so maybe we should.
I don't know if it's that one that maybe I'm talking nonsense, but yeah, there was something. I think it was about something. Hang on. I was going to say quite like the song "Helter Skelter."
Quite rocking, yeah.
Motley Crue.
Which is really the Motley Crue covered it. Motley Crue didn't the original. They made it more rock, but it's a Beatles song, but it's just something that's slightly unexpected from the Beatles because it's not like it's a bit more heavy.
Yeah,
Isn't that the song that also has a different time signature, which is again unusual for someone? Yeah.
Only you would know that. Really facts.
I've got a bit of a controversial take that I don't particularly like the Beatles very much. I alienate the fans.
Don't tell my mum that.
No, I'm all about the 70s, man. I don't like the 60s stuff and go 50s, then 70s. I'll skip the 60s. There you go. Controversial. Yeah, your mum won't be happy with me.
Do you think you'd like them if you were suddenly getting this album and you'd never heard of the band and it was like, oh, there's this old band that they did one record in the 60s. It was this is called the Beatles. And you're like, oh, would you think you'd like it then, or is it because it's sort of so oversaturated?
No, it's not because I don't know, just like a bit more rocking. This is not rocking enough for me. It's a bit too jangly.
Fair enough.
But yeah, good songwriters. Can't take away from them. That's not my cup of tea. Give me like Sweet or T-Rex or something instead. Get much more fun.
Yeah.
Also, I like people that dress silly. I don't think.
Well, I mean, the Beatles all had the same hair.
Yeah, that's not dressing silly, is it?
I think that's another thing they made popular: the hairstyle, the fashion, basically, the hairstyle, the smart suit jacket thing.
Yeah.
Were they sort of taking the mix slightly as well with that? because then that's as soon as that, so they did that for a bit because all the bands on, all the singers would dress up in a suit to go on TV, and then they all grew their hair long as a kind of rebellion for that, didn't they? Afterwards,
Yeah, as they got bigger, then they could do more freedom to do what they wanted.
Yeah, there is a contrast, isn't there, with the suit and the long hair. It was probably quite a surprising look back then to see someone in a suit but with long hair.
yeah.
You're looking for something, Natalie?
No, I was just looking at. I was looking up Here Comes the Sun, and it just is about a story about hope after a long period of kind of being depressed or being upset or being, in a winter time. But it could be.
Right.
I genuinely thought it was about the end of the war, but it's not. It doesn't say that. So
Okay, but there is more substance to it than it just being like, oh, it's sunny outside.
It's literally about the arrival of spring after a long cold winter, but it also says that that it could be to do with the theme of hope that George Harrison was writing about a time when the Beatles were coming out of a dark mood because of, he says in his autobiography, was written about the time. In his autobiography, he says the song was written at the time when they had to go and be businessmen, sign this and sign that, and it was less about creating music and more about kind of the business side of the music industry, and he wanted to write something with a message of hope.
That's very interesting.
They should have paid more attention. They could have saved themselves years of lawsuits afterwards.
Good research.
Right,
there you
cool.
go. Cool.
That was good. That was a random episode as usual.
Right, random episode. Good question from Andy Crimson. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy.
We've got some really nice, unexpected bands for everyone to listen to, quite well-known ones, and ones that people would be able to get a hands on quite easily. So if you haven't listened to them already, which I'm sure you probably have.
Yeah, I'll link them in the description.
Cool.
Oh, well,
Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Nice one, guys.
See you on the Discord and Patreon. Wait.
Well, absolutely.
See you next time.
Bye.
Good job, then.